You got it, Steph. We are watching all of our live feeds, and we have been watching all of the reports from our special correspondent, Lisa LaFlamme, who joins us once again live in London, just right by Buckingham Palace. You've got a view. Lisa, let's talk about... Yesterday, when we checked in with you, we spoke about mourners in Scotland. You gave an interesting number, which was 4,000 mourners per hour, I believe. I can only imagine what it's going to look like at Westminster Hall. Do you have any idea or any indication of what this queue looks like and how long people will be waiting to pay their final respects?
I can give you the perspective of what's happening right now along the Lambeth Bridge. The lineup started. One man that I spoke to got there at 6 o'clock last night, and by this morning, so he was number 41 in line. He was the 41st person in line. So when the doors open, he will be the 41st person to be able to walk in and pay his final respect to the Queen. Right now, there are thousands and thousands of people in that line. They've all been given wristbands, which is sort of an interesting modernization on the concept of queuing in this country. These wristbands allow people to leave the line and come back to line. If they're elderly, they will have a different color armband, which suggests they need medication or they need this sort of thing. So it's very well organized. But this is going to take up to 30 hours, they're told, to be able, once the doors do open of Westminster Hall. In and among the crowd also there are thousands of police officers, some in uniform, some in plain clothes, because they have to make sure that while this is a respectful sign of unity and respect to the Queen, it's also a little bit of a security challenge, not a little bit, a lot of a security challenge. And this is just the general public, hundreds of thousands expected over the next 5 days. But the day of the funeral, they will also be protecting kings and queens and princes from other nations. They'll be protecting prime ministers and presidents. So you can imagine that logistically, there are so many levels to what is unfolding here, but we definitely feel a different tone today, more security, but no less of a mournful sense of unity among the public from what I've seen anyway, including right here at Buckingham Palace. It's actually quite quiet for so many thousands of people to be here.
As you've been noting in previous days, they've been ready for this. There's been a plan in place for several years, likely. So it is really just a matter of executing a plan that has been there. I want to talk a little bit about the day's specifics. So when it comes to the cortege leaving Buckingham Palace, going to Westminster Hall, how long would that procession take? What is expected from the day when it comes to a timeline there?
Well, everything is down to military precision right to the second. So I can say that at exactly 2:22 this afternoon, the Queen's coffin will come out on the cortege. It will with the cortege, it will take 13 minutes to go from Buckingham Palace toward Westminster Hall. When they get to Westminster Hall, where she will be on a wooden platform in the, by the way, where she will be is the oldest part of Westminster. It is 1,000 years of history, monarch history, political history. It's just everything about this is steeped in history. It'll take about 2 hours, I'm told, before the public is allowed in. There will be another Vigil of the Princes, which is another ancient tradition. We saw it in Scotland as well, including Princess Anne. And that is expected to unfold also here. And just tonight or overnight, she was never alone for 1 minute, we're told. Different members of the household staff and the family itself were with her at some point throughout the night as the Queen spent her final night in Buckingham Palace, a house that she moved into when she was 10 or 11 or 12 years old. So it's really extraordinary.
Absolutely. Lisa, we've got about 30 seconds left with you. And with that, I'd like to ask you about the Canadian connection, which runs deep. But in your travels there, have you spoken to any Canadians and how they are reflecting?
Oh, so many Canadians are here. And, you know, for them, it was just a lucky chance. Well, I'll call it lucky. It's historic that you booked your holiday in London and then the Queen died. I mean, they are overwhelmed. All of the Canadians I've spoken to feel absolutely honored that they're here, their holiday. Of course, it means it's a lot more challenging to see some of the landmarks of London, but honestly, it's a vacation they'll never forget because she is our queen all of our lives as well. And I think that one of the messages that's really been translated is that she transcended the work, the service, the duty of the job, and really became sort of the grandmother of this nation and the world. So there's a lot of love for her from Canadians and so many from the Commonwealth as well as the Brits themselves.
Always incredible to have you, Lisa. We will check in same time tomorrow. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again.